Hello, hello. Welcome, welcome. Come on in. I've got a story for you today because this week, Matt and I are celebrating a very important anniversary. Nope, it's not an anniversary of our love, although it is 18 years this year, which feels like a great achievement. The anniversary that we are celebrating is this sofa. And I've got a story for you today, something that you can think about in terms of your dreams, your next chapter, where you're going, and to know that you can begin now and begin with the first steps. So 9 years ago, this sofa arrived in our lives, and it was one of those deliveries where the people who were delivering the sofa did not want to be delivering sofas. They certainly didn't want to be going upstairs because we had to go up some stairs. And they just basically were like, and also there was that moment of, is the sofa going to go through the door? Also, when we then moved it to this house, half of the sofa did not go through the door. So we ended up having to take half of it out through our neighbour's garden, round the back and up our stairs. We've got some stairs at our back door. So we had to think very strategically in that way. But Matt will always say, and I'm not going to go into too much about what he says because it's his story to tell, but he will always talk about how it felt like such a grown-up thing to buy this kind of sofa. And I'm not going to show you all of it because it's an absolute tip in here and it's on my list. It was one of those days where the kids just left for school and we just needed to get out the door. But it's basically a big right angle. And this sofa felt such a big adult moment. So let me go back. I had my son in October 2015, so 9 and a bit years ago. And this sofa arrived January 2016. And my son was £9.10, which is 4.36 kilos for those of you who operate in kilos. Unexpectedly big. I had a 3-day labour and a C-section, and it took me a long time to recover. I also had a really hungry, heavy baby. So he wasn't one of those kind of dinky ones that you could just, you know when you see sort of people just like slotting them in, he looked like he was going to work. And in our old house, we had an old sofa of my dad's that we had because we didn't have furniture. It was the first time that we had lived together. I think how long had we lived in that flat by that point? Like 3 years or something. But it was still very sort of makeshift. So to buy things like, it'd gone on basics and it was very much a work in progress. When I came home from that hospital, I realised that I didn't have a plan work-wise, which you may say is irresponsible. And yes, I would agree. I did have a plan, as in I had a business and I had ways of making money, but I fully stand by, until you have that baby and you meet that baby and you understand how you're going to be, how the baby's going to be, you can make all the big plans in the world, but until you get there, you don't know. And one of the things that really shocked me was how long it would take for me to feel normal again. My normal. And we had this sofa, which up until the point of having Oscar, my son, it was fine. It wasn't really noticeable. I mean, even in pregnancy, it was fine because I had like a ball thing. I had a yoga bolster. I had all sorts of stuff going on. And it was only when I got home and I really sat on this sofa and I thought, this sofa is the most uncomfortable thing I've ever sat on in my life. I don't know how to get comfy on it. Also, lots of people were visiting. There wasn't enough seats for people to sit down. And we also had quite a big living room. So we'd all be kind of wedged in, or we'd be bringing, the Peter Kay emergency chair, bring it in, have a sit down. So it felt like a doctor's waiting room. And that's when the inspiration for the sofa came. I was like, this sofa, we've outgrown this sofa. We are parents now. We are grown-ups. It's time for a grown-up sofa. Yet, we at that time, as I've mentioned, no understanding work-wise of how this was going to work. We had no idea. We had no business thinking about buying something like a sofa. We were literally trying to survive day by day. If you've had follow-up checks after having a baby, usually the baby puts on all their weight that they drop after the birth very quickly. I was in and out of that clinic for 2 months afterwards, trying to get his weight up. So I was in and out, and I was trying to figure it all out. So it wasn't like I had this big stack of cash going, oh, it will be fine, I'll just do that, and we'll just buy a sofa, we'll just order it. So we knew that wasn't a situation. But, and here's the first lesson, here's the first takeaway. I understood that where I was right now, it needed to be temporary, because I had had an idea that a change was possible. A change was desired. And quite often what can happen is that when people have an idea, a desire, a sense of like, oh, I'd like to do that, it so quickly is pushed down because of the practicality. And so instead of saying, well, it's probably going to be another 2 or 3 years before you can afford a sofa, etc., I decided to think, okay, I'm still going to be in this motion that this sofa is on its way. And so that was a really key first step. The second thing that I decided was to get into the nitty-gritty of what a sofa looked like. Now, it was one of those dreams that became very clear to me. I was like, I want it to be a corner sofa. I want it to be comfy. It's not going to be one of those show sofas. When you see people's houses and you're like, how do you lie? You don't watch telly on that sofa. You sit very politely and have polite conversations and drink tea with cups and saucers. Our sofa is like a member of our family, which you would see if I turned the camera around. So I don't always have all those specifics. And so if I do have that dream, sometimes the only piece of the puzzle that I have is, it's not this. It's not this. And I knew that with the sofa. It's not this. I don't want a two-seater sofa. I don't want this color, like it was a really horrible lavender color. No. But with this dream, I had the specifics. I was like, I want it to be this kind of texture. I want it to be this sort of shape. And so I got into the excitement of it. And that's really key. Because especially if you are saying at this point of the year of, I want to make more money this year, or I want to grow my career this year, or I want to do these kinds of things, or I want to spend my time differently, or I want to feel more like me. You have to go into the specifics of that, because again, there will be some people who at that time were sofa shopping and they had a very different criteria from what I wanted. So I'm thinking about those man caves that you see, and there's always one of those sofas. It's like white and it's curved, or it's like a red leather or something like that. And they know what they want for that man cave. And it's something different. I then began the practicalities. Okay, how big, based on this room that we were in, what's the biggest sofa that we can get? What are the kind of prices? What sorts of shops have sofas where you can actually go into the shop and sit on the sofas? This was really key for me. I didn't want to buy a sofa without sitting on it. And so I began to do all of those logistics, and I began to piece it together. And strangely, what happened was that in the January, a grandparent gave Matt some money, a little bit of money, kind of buy something for your house type situation. Something else happened, that a work thing came through. I got an advert, like all of these little pieces of money came in, and they just immediately went into the sofa fund. Like, that's the sofa fund, that's the sofa fund. And I'd had my eye on this one particular sofa, and we went to go and sit on it. We went to Tottenham Court Road, which I don't know if it's changed recently, but certainly at that time you could go and sit on lots of different sofas. And I kept an eye on this sofa. And one day it had £900 off. I don't know why. So the money that we had available was actually more than what the sofa cost. And that blew my mind, because in a matter of weeks, from sitting on a terrible 2-seater lavender sofa feeling rubbish, this sofa was in our house. And this sofa has been, I described it as like another member of our family. It's been so integral. Like, we all sit on it every single day. We're not one of these people who are like, gosh, I've just got like 9 different reception rooms. We haven't. This is our sofa. We sit on it. The kids watch telly on it. We sometimes eat our dinner on it. I do work calls on it sometimes. Family, friends, people have cried and laughed, and it's so part of our lives. And I know that when my children are all older, they're going to remember this sofa. They're going to remember it because it's in every single picture. Likewise, my red dressing gown that I used to do so many lives on Instagram. I was always wearing that red dressing gown because I always had children who never slept. So I was always in that limbo of, okay, I'm going to put the baby down for a sleep and I'm going to go in the shower. And then it's like, the baby's not going to sleep. Okay, right, take one of those little chairs into the bathroom, put the baby in there, get in the shower, all of the things. Your dreams, your passions, your wish list, your things that you want to be, do, have and feel this year are important and valuable. And they may not be immediate. Some of them will take time, effort, focus, resilience, money, confidence, a backbone, courage, all of it. And sometimes they will be a long way in the works. And your impatience and your sense of injustice and frustration that these things are not happening immediately may create blocks along the way. However, today, I would love you to do 2 things. Number 1, trust the dream. Trust it. If it's coming through to you, trust it. Don't shut it down immediately. You know, if a small child came up to you or an elderly person and said, do you know what I've always wanted to do? Or I would really like to do X, Y, and Z. You wouldn't immediately say, well, that's never going to happen. Is it? How am I going to do that? I would hope that even if you had no idea how it was going to happen, you would ask more questions. Tell me about it. What are you doing? What's happening there? Give me all the details. Why do you want to do that? How long have you wanted to do it? Be inquisitive, be curious. Do that for yourself. Instead of going into practical mode of the how and, well, I don't know, and nobody ever has bought a new sofa in my family, all of these things. Just be with the dream. Get really specific about it. Trust it. It's trying to tell you something. And part 2 is go into the details and the specifics of the information that you need to know about this dream. So going back to the sofa, I had strong views about the colour, the shape, the kind of size that we would want, the formation of what it looked like, how the cushions were. Some of them like didn't have, the armrests, the feet, all of it. I want you to get into the specifics, because when you've got specifics, you will have a sense of being able to say yes or no to your dream. Is it am I closer or am I further away? And so often we then ask more questions because of fear or a disbelief that it can happen. But I'm here to say that yes, sometimes it will take time. But I bet you that you've had times in your life where something felt like it came out of nowhere. Something that you thought might be hard was actually so easy because it was so aligned. It was so on purpose. It was so exciting. It didn't feel like hard work for you. And we are at a time now where I've realized over the last 5 years, there'll always be a reason not to. Always, always, always. And so many people live in this situation of, well, when the kids go back to school, or when I'm less tired, or when the economy is a bit more stable, well, when the pandemic's over, when. And do you know what happens? Is something goes and then something replaces it. Something that we were worrying about stops, changes, finds a solution, and then something else comes in that we weren't expecting. And so there is no perfect time. It may take longer. It may take longer. It may require work and focus and all of those things. But it is possible. And I don't want you to let yourself off the hook here. It's so easy to go, I don't know what I like. I don't know. I don't mind. What do you think? Especially for us as women, as girls who are conditioned in that way. We have this ability to be flexible and adaptable and easygoing and just, cool, like whatever. And I think back to moments, when you were at school or you were trying to like find boyfriends or be fanciable or any of those sorts of things. And it was literally like, I'll be whatever you need me to be. All of these things. I watch women go into family situations and they can work through where they need to place themselves. What does that person need? I see it with mothers with their children. They can just unlock stuff. It's innate in so many of us. But today I want to talk about you, because I know that you are doing all those things for everybody else. And that's great. And I know myself, I will always continue to do that. I worked out the other day that I'm going to have a child at home until I'm, I think 57 was what I worked out. 57. And so it's a while away. But what am I going to do until I'm 57? Just kind of go, well, I'm not going to start now because, wait. No, I don't even know if I'll get to 57. I mean, I hope I do. Touch sofa, touch wood. You have to begin right now in a way that feels really good. If I can help and support you, I would love to. I've been doing this work for 15 years. I've worked with so many different types of people. And maybe you watch this video today and you think, I'll do it. I'm not ready yet. Ask yourself what you need in order to feel ready. And make yourself accountable to yourself. Because I can tell myself all of these things. I'll do it when, I'll do it. Why? Is it true? Is it a truth? Is it a lie? Why am I holding myself back? Why are you holding yourself back? Why are we holding ourselves back? All of the things. Send me a message. Let me know what you took away from today's little sofa chat. And thank you, sofa. I'm grateful for you. I'm going to tidy you and take care of you. And I can't wait to wash you in the summer. Get all the cushion covers off. Get them on the line. It's beautiful. This is 43. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. Lots of love, and I'll see you soon.